And we're going on the record in the videotape deposition of Mr. Victor Mignogna. Today's date is June 26th, 2019. The time is 10:05 a.m. At this time, will counsel please state their appearances for the record, and then the court reporter will swear in the witness.
Ty Beard for the plaintiff.
Casey Eric for defendants, Monica Real, Ron Toy.
Sean Lemoyne for the defendants, Monica Real and Ron Toy.
John Bowley for Funimation.
Sam Johnson for Jamie Markey.
Go ahead and announce it.
Carrie Christie for Vic Mignogna.
And then we have appearing by Zoom, which is a teleconference. We have Ethan Minshall from Wick Phillips and Andrea Perez from Kessler Collins, and also Miss Marchie and Mr. Toy and I think Mrs. Real are joining by Zoom. And do you want to do the...
Yeah, we're on the record.
Yep.
Okay. Counsel has agreed that the only people that will be watching this live stream are the parties and counsel, and that it will not be recorded or otherwise distributed without agreement of all the parties.
That's agreed.
That's correct.
That's agreed.
Okay.
One other thing, this lady sitting in the black with the gray sweater hasn't introduced herself, has she?
No, she's Lisa Hansel. She's our witness consultant.
Okay, so she's a jury consultant of some sort.
Witness, but yeah.
All right.
My office.
One other agreement, can we have an agreement that objection for one of the defendants is an objection for all, so we don't jump all over each other?
Agreed.
All right, and I don't know if everybody wants to do consecutive deposition numbering, so that it would be throughout the deposition, since I suspect there'll be a large number of them. But, Mr. Beard, that's up to you.
In other words, one objection that you guys, that one person makes is deemed to be...
Oh, I'm
Made
sorry.
for all.
No, that's an agreement for the defendants. That way we don't keep objecting.
Or what I was involved
The
in.
agreement, what I was asking everybody at the table, because I can't dictate this, is consecutive deposition numbering. I mean, we start today at 1, and if we go to 42, and then tomorrow there's a new deposition, 1 through 42 stay set. You'll have them. You can use them 1 through 42, and then any new depositions would start at 43. That way, when you go to trial and you're playing deposition testimony, the 42nd deposition exhibit is the same in every deposition. Does that make sense?
No, but...
If I may jump in, he means consecutive exhibit numbering.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's fine.
What
That's
was I
fine.
You
saying?
were saying consecutive deposition numbering.
Yeah.
I was skipping the word exhibit. I got it.
Yeah. That's fine.
Okay. Anything else we need to discuss, read and sign, I assume?
Nope.
Okay.
You don't want to read and sign?
Oh, I'm sorry. Help me out here.
Do you want Mr. Is it Mignogna?
Mignogna, yes,
Mignogna,
sir.
very good. Mr. Mignogna to read his deposition and sign it when it's over.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I
I was
thought that's...
I was 1,000
yeah.
miles away.
That's what I thought.
Fluid.
All right, we otherwise ready?
I need you to raise your right hand, sir. You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, I do.
This will be taken under the Texas Rules of Civil Procedure.
Would you state your name for the record?
Victor Joseph Mignogna.
Mr. Mignogna, would you identify the woman with the black shawl and the gray shirt? Who is she?
Her name is Lisa Hansel.
And what does she do for a living?
For a living,
Yeah, do you know?
she does several things, but among other things, she does makeup work and production work
And when you say makeup work and production work, is that in some kind of...
for film and television.
Okay. Is she, to your knowledge, has she ever been a witness consultant?
I don't know anything about.
As you sit here today, is she? Have you hired her to be your witness consultant?
I have not hired her.
Okay, then I'm going to ask that Ms. Hansel be excluded from the deposition.
Counsel, I hired her. But that's fine. She can be excluded.
Okay. Have you ever been deposed before, Mr. Mignogna?
No, sir.
Have you ever had to give testimony in any capacity before?
Yes, sir.
In what capacity?
I was a police officer for a time, and in my job capacity, I would have to testify against defendants that I arrested and give testimony.
And when were you a police officer?
long time ago, roughly 86, 87
I don't recall.
in Maryland.
That's what he should have said, right?
How long were you a police officer? A year?
Roughly 2 years on and off.
When you say on and off, were you some kind of auxiliary police officer?
Well, no, I was a seasonal officer. Went through the necessary degree of training and sworn in, powers of arrest, etc.
Were you allowed to carry a pistol?
Yes, sir. And I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
And then at some point, they realized that I had a background in film and television, and they asked me to start making PSAs and commercials for pedestrian-related, citizen-related videos to help educate the public. That's why I meant on and off. I started doing the video stuff toward the end.
When did you stop being a police officer?
It was just a couple of years, so I guess, roughly, again, I don't remember the years specifically, but a couple of years.
And why did you cease being a police officer?
It was never a career move. It was something that I thought would be interesting to do right out of college. I mean, it wasn't something I intended to do for a long period of time.
Were you terminated, or did you voluntarily quit?
No, I voluntarily quit.
Did you
Apart
rape
from your
anyone?
attorneys, have you talked to anybody in preparation for this deposition?
No.
What have you done to prepare for this deposition?
I just spoken with my attorneys and prepared.
Did you review any documents to refresh your recollection about any events that you might be discussing today?
No, sir.
Are there any medications that you're on that would prevent you from testifying truthfully?
No, sir.
Is there anything that you can think of that would prevent you from testifying truthfully today?
No, sir.
What's your full name?
Victor Joseph Mignogna,
How old are you?
56.
You ever go by any nicknames?
Vic. I mean,
Is that it?
yes.
What about the Fuhrer? You ever go by the nickname the Fuhrer?
No.
Have any?
Excuse me,
Are you aware
Could
of
you say that louder?
the Fuhrer?
The Fuhrer,
Yeah.
as in Adolf Hitler?
I don't know.
Is that how it's spelled?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry.
Are you aware of there being any group of people out there in the world that refer to you as the Fuhrer?
Yes.
And who refers you to the Fuhrer?
Many years ago, members of my fan club, the Risenbull Rangers, thought that it would just be fun, since it was kind of a nickname of the fan club, that they were kind of that they were Rangers, and somebody made it up as a joke. I had nothing to do with it. It was short-lived. I didn't make it up. I didn't condone it. It was just something some fan made up.
Do you know if your mother ever referred to you as the Fuhrer?
Not to my knowledge.
And when you say short-lived, like how long? A few days, a few weeks?
I don't even know. I haven't heard that reference in a very long time until you just said it.
We got him.
I take it that when the Risenbull Rangers started referring to you as the Fuhrer, you understood the inappropriateness of something like that, correct?
I didn't really have any feeling about it.
Well, can you associate for me any other human being that's been called the Fuhrer besides Adolf Hitler?
You're a plane
Not to my
defiler from EverQuest.
And so you would agree with me that it would be inappropriate for you to have a nickname or condone a nickname like the Fuhrer.
I never condoned it.
Okay, and you'd agree with me that would be inappropriate for people to call you that, because you don't support that kind of nonsense, do you?
I don't fully understand.
Sure.
Can you rephrase?
If somebody called me the Fuhrer, I would tell them to stop immediately, because it's anti-Semitic and refers to a time in our history where terrible things were done to Jewish people. Do you have that same feeling?
Of course I do.
Okay, so you would agree with me that if there were people out there calling you the Fuhrer, one of the things you would do would be to intervene to stop that.
I knew that they were fans who meant nothing by it. They're young people, and I didn't address it one way or the other, and it died off.
All right, I'll object as non-responsive. My question was not what you think the fans might believe, but if you agree, that would be,
I believe you asked me if I told them to stop, and I said no. And my answer to that is no, because they were fans, and I knew they didn't mean anything by it. Their intentions were nothing more than playful, and so I didn't address it, and it died off.
does the Risenville Rangers, do they have a definitions page somewhere?
I don't know.
That's not something you have anything to do with?
No, sir.
Is there any adult that monitors this
Yes.
Risenville Rangers page?
Sorry, not supposed to overlap. I apologize. Yes.
And who's that adult?
I don't specifically know all their names, but we have moderators. We've always had moderators of legal age to make sure that any of the forums and places where the fans would gather to chat were safe places where there wasn't any inappropriate discussions or challenges or bullying.
Okay. Do you know who any of these moderators are?
I know some. They've changed over the years because, again, they're volunteers. They're fans who just offered to help.
And who screens them to make sure they're of legal age?
I'm sorry?
Who screens them to make sure they're of legal age?
The other moderators who are of legal age.
Who screens that moderator?
I'm sure at some point in time I probably had spoken to someone who I knew was of legal age.
As you sit here today, can you identify one person?
I'm sorry?
As you sit here today, can you identify one person who is of legal age that is a moderator on the Risenville Rangers page?
Alyssa Flutie.
And how old is she?
I don't know her birthday.
How do you know she's of age?
Because she's clearly of age.
Right? How many hours does Miss?
She's out of college. She has a job. She's clearly of age.
How much time does she devote to the
I have no
moderating?
idea, sir. I'm sorry.
Where do you currently live?
Grapevine, Texas.
And how long have you lived in Grapevine?
Since late December of last year.
And where'd you live prior to that?
I went back and forth between Los Angeles and Houston.
Are you married?
No, sir.
Have you ever been married?
Yes, sir.
How long were you married?
A little over 6 years.
From when to when?
95 to 2000, mid-2000.
Do you have any children?
No, sir.
What's the highest level of formal education you've ever obtained?
I have a bachelor's degree in science,
Where'd you get
arts
that?
and science, from Liberty University.
In Virginia?
Yes, sir.
When did you graduate?
86.
And after you left Liberty, that's when you became a police officer in Maryland? And I know it's been a long time, so I'm
I know, I'm so
not
sorry.
trying to trap you on dates.
No, I know. I'm just trying to work it out. When I said on and off, if I may, I guess,
Sure,
if
go
I
ahead.
clarify. As I mentioned, I was a seasonal officer. There are cities in Maryland that are vacation towns, and they hire additional officers for the seasons. And my senior year in college, I was hired, and then I went back to college, so I wasn't there anymore. And then after college, I went back and did it for another year and a half or so. That's what I meant by on and off.
Okay.
By on and off, you meant on and off.
Did you teach at a school after you graduated Liberty University?
Yes, sir.
What school did you teach at?
Trinity Christian Academy,
Where's that located?
Jacksonville, Florida.
What did you teach?
I taught English and speech.
And how long did you teach there?
A year.
And why'd you leave?
Because, again, it was not a career move. It was not my intention to be a teacher. It was an opportunity that was offered to me right after college.
Did you resign or were you terminated?
I actually don't even recall.
Were there any allegations of any appropriate behavior?
Not to
between
my
you?
knowledge.
Let me get my question out.
Sorry.
Are there any allegations of inappropriate behavior between you and any students at this school in Jacksonville that led to your resignation or the termination?
Not to my knowledge.
And you would agree with me that if you were terminated for inappropriate behavior or allegations of inappropriate behavior with children, that's something you'd remember?
Certainly. Of course, it was 30 years ago.
Okay, but even 30 years ago, if you were accused of inappropriate behavior with children at your first job after graduating the Christian School of Liberty University, that's something that stick with you, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
When did you first become involved in movies or theater or TV production?
Since I was very young.
All right.
12, 13.
When was your first paying job in the movie or TV production?
I have no recollection.
All right. How long would you say that you've been in the public spotlight?
Being in the public spotlight's kind of subjective, you know, like what one person would consider celebrity or whatever. I don't.
Okay.
I couldn't
That's
answer
fair.
that.
Let me do it this way. Do you consider yourself to be a celebrity?
No.
Okay, why not?
Because I don't.
You've been in movies before?
Yes.
You've been on TV shows?
Yes, sir.
You have voice acted for, what, hundreds of Japanese anime films?
Yes, sir.
You go to conventions where thousands of people show up?
Yes, sir.
You've taken, over the course of your, let's say, last 20 years, you've probably taken pictures with over 10,000 people. Is that fair?
I don't know an exact number.
Well, I mean, is it more or less than
I
10,000?
couldn't answer. I couldn't tell you.
Well, how many people?
I haven't kept count. Sorry.
Do you think it's more than 100?
Sure.
All right. What's the last convention you went to?
I was at an event last weekend in Dublin, Ireland.
How many people did you take pictures with there?
I didn't count.
More than 100?
Probably not.
Do you consider yourself to be a celebrity in the American voice actor community?
I don't feel like it's for me to say whether I'm a celebrity or not.
Good answer.
Okay. Anybody a more popular voice actor in the, I guess, American anime community than you?
I'm sorry, would you ask that again, please?
Yeah, I mean, I know you're involved in cartoons or something like that. So how would you describe what it is you do for a living?
I provide English voices for Japanese anime that is dubbed into English.
Okay, is there a lingo that we can use in this deposition for that? Is it American voice actor?
Voice actor.
Okay. All right. Is there anybody that you know of in the voice acting community that has more celebrity than you?
I've never really thought about it.
So as you sit here today, you don't know if there's anybody that has more what we call celebrity than you.
No, I do not.
I mean, is your reputation as a voice actor, is that important to you?
Yes.
Why?
My reputation in general is important to me.
Jack is not responsive. Is your reputation as a voice actor important to you?
Of course.
Okay, why?
Because it reflects on me as a person, it reflects on me as a professional in a field.
And do you feel like you have a positive reputation as a voice actor in your field?
I believe I do.
And how long have you had that, what you would call positive reputation?
Well, I've been a voice actor for almost 20 years, so I can only assume that since I've been hired repeatedly for, over 20 years, that somebody must think I'm relatively good at what I do.
Okay. And over the last 20 years, have you attended conventions for Japanese anime films?
Yes, sir.
Is that part of how you make a living?
Sorry?
Is that part of how you make a living?
Certainly.
And I assume these conventions are open to the public?
Yes, sir.
And lots of people come and watch or meet you at these conventions?
Yes, sir.
What's the largest number of people that you think you've ever spoken to at one of these conventions?
I have no idea.
More than 20?
Sure,
More than 100?
probably.
More than 500?
That's the point at which I wouldn't be able to comment specifically.
Are you usually in a room of the same size that we're in right now?
The sizes of the rooms vary.
Are they bigger or smaller than the room we're in?
They vary.
Well,
They
on
vary.
average, are they bigger or smaller in this room?
They vary.
Okay, what's the
I've
smallest?
been in rooms, large rooms that had a small amount of people. I've been in small rooms that have had a larger number of people. I mean, they vary.
Is your personal reputation important to you?
Yes, sir.
Why is that?
Yep, you already said that.
Why?
The same reason anyone's is important to them.
Well, not anyone is suing my clients for defamation. You are, sir. So why is your reputation important to you?
Well, because it goes to credibility, it goes to the opportunity to continue to work and be hired.
Anything else?
Nothing comes to mind.
If you think of something, feel free to jump back in. It's not
Yes.
a power. It's not a power test. With regard to your credibility, how has whatever you think Mr. Toy has said, how's that hurt your credibility?
Mr. Toy has made a large number of public assertions to which there is no evidence or proof. They're very negative. They're defamatory.
Okay.
And sorry,
No, you get the answer until you've done.
go ahead. I apologize.
So, Mr. Toy has made allegations you would consider to be uncredible?
Yes, sir.
Right, and so if those aren't credible allegations, that really hasn't hurt your credibility, has it?
There's a matter of public perception that I think we can all agree is pretty prevalent and powerful these days.
I understand what public perception is. I'm trying to figure out whether or not
Do you?
somehow your credibility has been hurt by what Mr. Toy has said.
Yes, I believe it has.
Okay, how?
By altering the perception of people that make decisions about my work and career.
All right, and is Mr. Toy the only person that's had this negative impact on the perception of people that are in your line of work?
No, I don't believe so.
Other than Ms. Rial and Ms. Markey, anyone else that's done anything to hurt your credibility in the voice acting industry?
I'm sure.
Can you identify any of them as you sit here right now?
No, sir. Not by name. Many of them are screen names. You know, on a computer, you don't know who they are. You don't know where they live. You know, you can't know. Really.
You would agree with me that the allegations surrounding your alleged homophobia, anti-Semitism, and sexual harassment are being discussed publicly, correct?
They are being discussed publicly, yes.
And that, because of that public discussion, that's hurting your credibility, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And it's not just Mr. Toy and Ms. Margie and Ms. Rial that are discussing that. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Are you suing anybody else as we sit here today?
No, sir.
Have you sent retraction letters to anybody else?
No, sir.
Please sue
Would
other
you
people.
agree with me that the damage to your personal reputation is also damaging to your fan base?
Possibly.
Would you agree with me that if this litigation was resolved, in one form or fashion, that would be a benefit to your fan base.
Would you rephrase that, please?
Yeah, if this litigation is resolved, that would help your fan base, wouldn't it?
I don't know.
Well, for instance,
I've never been involved in anything like this. I don't really know what the outcome would be or how it would affect anything.
Okay. How about this for an example? If the litigation was resolved today, your fan base could save their money and not donate to the GoFundMe campaign that's been set up for you. You agree with that?
I have nothing to do with that.
Objection non-responsive. Would you agree with me that if this litigation got resolved, then your fan base wouldn't have to donate to your GoFundMe campaign?
They don't have to donate. No one is compelling them to donate.
No one's asking them to donate.
I'm sorry?
And no one's asking them to donate.
Not that I know of. I have nothing to do with that.
I'm asking. Please
Do you know
donate.
how the money is spent?
No, sir.
So who makes sure the money is actually spent for your benefit?
I didn't set it up. I don't know anything
Objection
about it.
non-responsive.
I don't know.
So you have a GoFundMe campaign out there in your name. Do you know how much money's in it?
No, sir.
You have no clue.
No, sir.
So somebody's raising money with your name and face on a GoFundMe page. Do you agree with that?
That's what I've been told, yes.
And you have no idea? Do you know who runs that account?
Do I know who funds the account?
Runs the account.
I believe it was set up by a gentleman named Nick Rekeita.
How do you spell Rekeita?
I don't know.
Rude.
R-E-K-E-I-T-A-I-E-T-A.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Do you know Mr. Rekeita?
I never met him until for the first time a couple of weeks ago.
Where'd you meet him at?
I met him at an anime convention in Houston.
Is he your attorney?
No, sir.
Has he ever represented you?
No, sir.
Have you ever communicated with Mr. Rekeita by email, text, any type of application on your phone?
Briefly.
About what? Your mom.
He wrote me back in probably February. I didn't know who he was. It was unsolicited. And I did not reply.
Rude.
And
Very
then
rude.
it was brought to my attention that there was a gentleman on the internet who was making videos and being very supportive of my situation. And when they told me his name, I went back into my email and looked up to see if that was the person that had contacted me, and it was. And so I sent him an email and thanked him for his support.
Is that the only exchange that y'all had? Or have y'all had continuous email, text
Occasionally.
message? And you talk about this litigation?
Briefly.
Do you know what his cell number is?
No, sir.
Is it stored in your phone somewhere?
Yes, sir.
When's the last time you got a text message from Mr. Rekeita?
I don't recall.
Have you done anything to delete any communications off your either email or phone or other electronic devices from Mr. Rekeita?
Well, I have a routine of once I finish a conversation with somebody, I delete it because I don't want to have 600 text messages. So if you and I have a conversation about a particular thing, where are we going to lunch today, whatever, once that conversation is over, I delete it.
All right, have you ever done a factory reset on your phone?
No, sir.
Do you ever take your phone and put a lightning cord in it? Well, strike that. What kind of phone do you use?
iPhone?
All right, do you ever plug your iPhone into your laptop?
I have, yes.
When's the last time you did that?
I don't recall. It's been a while, actually.
Have you done anything to remove communications off your laptop?
No.
All right, do you have an iCloud account?
No. Wait.
Just,
I may, yes, actually.
and do you know whether or not your phone backs up to your iCloud account?
I don't know.
Do you have some type of administrator that would help you with that handles?
No.
So, Mr. Rekeita communicates with you in February of 2019 for the first time. At some point, you reach back out to him, y'all have a conversation. Who came up with the idea of the GoFundMe campaign?
Mr. Requeta,
And what was the purpose of the GoFundMe campaign?
you'll have to ask Mr. Requeta.
What did Mr. Requeta tell you the purpose of the GoFundMe campaign was?
Good luck.
He said that he believed that the people who supported my position wanted to help in any way they could, and he said he was going to provide them a way to do so if they chose to.
And you told him that was okay with you?
No, I did not give him permission. He had already done it.
Okay. Did he ask for permission after you did it?
No, sir.
You do realize that people have put over $100,000 into that GoFundMe account. You know that?
If that's the number you're telling me, then I believe you. Voluntarily.
Right, on
to
I
three.
believe. I don't think anyone's being compelled to do anything.
Did you ask Mr. Requeta to set up this GoFundMe campaign?
No, sir.
It was a complete shock to you when it occurred.
Define complete shock.
Well,
That sounds rather,
how
Complete.
about this? How many GoFundMe campaigns have been set up for your benefit without your knowledge in your lifetime?
none that I'm aware of,
So this is the first.
as far as I know.
And Mr. Requeta wasn't a friend of yours when it was set up, was he?
No, sir.
All right, so would you agree with me that that was kind of shocking that a random individual that you don't know sets up a GoFundMe
It was
campaign?
unexpected.
Okay. Did you ever bless him doing that?
No.
Are you okay with it, the GoFundMe campaign?
As a matter of fact, sir, I remember when he first told me that he had done it, I told him I didn't really know how I felt about it because I didn't want people, I didn't want people giving money to something, and that was the point at which he said what I just mentioned to you earlier, that he felt that there were a lot of people out there who felt that I was being treated unjustly and wanted to help.
So this GoFundMe campaign, you don't have any idea how the money's being spent.
No, sir.
Don't know where the money's going.
No, sir.
What happens to the money if there's any money left over after this litigation's over?
I believe I was told at some point that if there was any money that was not spent, left over, as you say, would go to a charity, a charitable cause.
And who picked the charitable cause?
I don't remember.
Does it strike you as odd that there's somebody out there raising money in your name and you can't tell me how that money's being spent?
No, sir.
Do you feel no responsibility to make sure
No,
that
sir.
the
Sorry,
objection?
I apologize.
Thank you. So you feel no responsibility to the
Objection form.
tens or thousands of people that are putting money into this GoFundMe campaign to make sure you know how the money's being spent?
Objection form.
You struggling with that question?
No, sir. I'm
You going to answer it?
responding
Yeah, you
to
can answer the
my
question. I'm sorry.
attorney's objection.
Oh, unless he tells you not to answer, you have to
Okay,
answer.
sorry. I didn't know how
Yeah.
it worked.
No, that's right.
So-
Please repeat the question.
Sure. You feel no responsibility whatsoever to make sure that the money being put into a GoFundMe campaign for your benefit, how it's spent?
Same objection. Objection form. That's your question.
My understanding is that it's being spent for legal defense. And I trust what I've been told.
All right. Where did you get the understanding that's being spent for your legal defense?
What's the name of the GoFundMe? Do you know what it is?
Sure. I'm going to show you what's been pre-marked as Exhibit 11. I will represent to you that Exhibit 11 is a screenshot of the GoFundMe campaign called Vic Kicks Back that was started on February 19th, 2019. You with me so far?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever seen the GoFundMe page?
No, sir.
This is the first time you've ever seen it.
I haven't followed it.
An objection unresponsive. Is this the first time you've ever seen a GoFundMe page?
I don't recall if I've looked at it before, but
So why is it that you don't feel a desire to make sure that money that's being collected in your name is spent properly?
Objection form.
Because I didn't start it.
Okay, so
I
if
didn't
Mr.
request it.
Requeta is some kind of con artist, it's okay that he takes money from your fans because you didn't start it.
Objection
Fair
form.
point?
I have no knowledge of Mr. Requeta being a con artist.
Objection non-responsive. If Mr. Requeta is a con artist and he is just taking money and doing whatever with it that is coming from your fans, not your problem.
Objection form.
I have nothing to do with it.
Okay, so not your problem, right?
Correct.
All right. Anybody else that you let use your face and your name to collect money from your fans that you don't?
Not that I'm aware of. But I can assure you, a lot of people are have used my face and my name for their own purposes over the years, and I don't have anything to do with them.
Jack is not responsive. There's no question on the table.
Including your
Exhibit
dumb
11, the
defendants.
photo, that is a photo of you.
Yes, sir.
All right, do you know if that's a copyrighted photo?
No, sir.
How old were you when that photo was taken? Gotta be 30, right?
Sorry?
Gotta be about 30 when this was taken.
Oh, you're very kind. That was taken in roughly 2008, 2009, I think. So I would have been mid-40s.
As you sit here today, other than your attorney, because I'm not allowed to get into those communications, has anybody else told you how money that is going into this GoFundMe campaign, how it's being spent?
No, sir.
You've never seen any documents that show how it's being distributed?
No, sir.
As you sit here today, are you paying your attorneys to represent you?
I have not, as of this moment, paid them.
Okay. Do you have an engagement agreement with them?
Yes.
All right. And does the engagement agreement have where you pay an hourly rate, or is it a contingency fee agreement?
I don't recall.
But as we sit here today, since you've been involved with your current attorney, Mr. Beard, you've not paid him any money?
No, sir.
Counsel,
Yep.
can I interrupt that off the record just a second?
Let's go off the record.
And we're going off the record. The time is 10:43.
生きるリバサイガスの吹き溜まりはまちまったやつほど口が悪いここじゃ石膏ってやつ雲隠れ俺たちの未来と空の色はグレー吹き変わるちびつめだね全速で前してみたのかねつけた最低限なら書き残すこの目しか見れない経験のな名前だけこの決意に甘えはねえ